All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are once again. Business Credit Builder.us. My name is Noel A. Booker Sr. My business is called Business Credit Builder.us. And what we do at Business Credit Builder is we help entrepreneurs build their business credit and access funding. Okay? That's our main thing. But we also do websites. We do accounting and bookkeeping for small businesses. So y'all can get at us on that stuff. But today we're going to be talking about how to get personal trade lines, long history, high limits for home and auto. So, are you looking to boost your credit score and secure high limits for your home and auto loans? Thank you for joining us for our event to learn all about getting primary trade lines and maximizing your credit potential. Okay? I have an expert on the line with me today, and he will share valuable tips and strategies to help you achieve your financial goals. Okay? So, once again, everybody, thank y'all for taking the time out. Um, and this will be recorded, and you can see this in its entirety on our YouTube channel. You can find our YouTube channel by going to businesscreditbuilder.us and clicking the YouTube button. Okay. Um, Hold on one second. Let's get this thing right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start by sharing the 3 C's, what I call the 3 C's of funding. Okay. And right now, you should be able to see my screen.
What's up, Ball Monkeys? Welcome back to the channel.
Excuse me. Okay, let's see. You should be able to see my screen. And bam. All right, let me introduce myself. My name is Noel A. Booker. Once again, you can see my contact information on the screen. The website is businesscreditbuilder.us, telephone and the email. Now, I got 3 buttons at the bottom of this screen here. How you can get a free guide on how to build business credit. Go to businesscreditbuilder.us/free guide. Okay. If you want to talk to my company about building your business credit, accounting, websites, etc., go to businesscreditbuilder.us/consult and get your free business credit consultation. And if you think that you can qualify for funding now and get approved, then you go to businesscreditbuilder.us/get funding. Okay, so, and our special guest today is going to be Mr. Elgin Edwards. And I'm going to have this contact information for you presented at the end of the presentation as well. Okay, so let's get started by going over the basic 3 C's of funding. That's what I call it. 3 C's of funding, right? Which is credit, collateral, and cash flow, right? So when you go and try to get a loan or something like that for your business, the lenders will definitely look at these 3 C's: credit, cash flow, collateral. Now, if you have all 3 of these, if if you have all 3 of these, then you can possibly qualify for an SBA loan. And the SBA loan is the best place to get money for your business because they give you a whole bunch of money, low interest rates, spread over time, right? But a lot of us don't qualify for the SBA loans. If you have 2 of these 3 C's, then you could possibly qualify for a term loan. If you have 1 of the 3 C's, depending on which one that you do have, then there is money available for you right now. Now, if you have none of the three C's, don't fret because that's when you start with business credit. Okay? You start from scratch with business credit. And as you build business credit, then you get access to more and more money. Okay? And that's how you get started. Now, building business credit is a step by step process. Each step is needed for the next step. So there's no skipping steps. Okay? Now, I always tell people that, you know, you can start building business credit when you have bad personal credit. That's okay. You can do that, right? But my job is to let you know how to get as fundable as possible, right? And in order to do that, it's good to know that having good personal credit helps dramatically. Okay? Having good personal credit opens up more doors for you. Okay? So I have my expert on here today, Mr. Elgin Edwards, and he will show you different ways that you can better your personal credit and access funding, right? So without further ado, everybody, Mr. Elgin Edwards. Yeah.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Noel. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to share what it is that we do with everyone who's joining us today. And thank you for everyone who tuned in. And hopefully you'll get what you came for and much more. That's our goal. Mr. Noel, to get us started, if you have any questions for me or anything specifically that you would like to share with our audience, then I'll be happy to go ahead and address that first.
You know what? Um, I do have a quick question, right? And that is, let's say my credit is just shot. It's
Hmm.
toe up from the it's toe up from the flow up. What would be my first start in this thing, right? What like if I'm just starting from scratch, I don't have none of the three C's, my personal credit is messed up, and I got a good business idea. What should be my first steps?
Well, the first thing I would do is look at it kind of like a fitness approach. You know, if your body was completely out of shape, you want to get in shape, and you want to lose weight or heal yourself, or whatever the case may be. The first thing I would consider is the intake. You know, what are you putting in your body? And so, if you're looking at your credit, it's not quite where you want it to be. You're not fundable. You don't know where to start. The first thing I would start with is the intake, like the people who are here now, taking in the knowledge, taking in the understanding to be able to make the changes, to be able to put in their GPS exactly where they want to go and have a roadmap and then start to follow that roadmap. And so, you know, Mr. Booker, you provide that GPS for people when it comes to business credit. And so this would be a great first step is to acquire knowledge, to get coaching, to get understanding, to be able to know what would be those steps that you spoke of earlier, how to take those steps, when to take those steps, and you know, follow the plan.
All right, all right. Well, go ahead and tell the people about the services that you provide
Hmm.
and see if anybody else got something they want to talk about.
So to piggyback off the first question that you asked me first, and then also to dive into what it is that I do, you know, we help through coaching with personal credit. That's a great foundation because in many cases, when it comes to business credit, even if you were to obtain some sort of funding, in most, if not all cases, you'll need to personal guarantor those funds, and having good business credit puts you in a position to be able to confidently do that. And then secondly, I will go ahead and start to build my business credit, making sure that you have your foundation in place. One is just having the right NEICS code. I think that's foundational. And if you don't know what an NEICS code means, it's North American Industry Standards. And so that's what puts you in a certain category, depending on what your business is. And that's oftentimes a huge determining factor for lending. So that you want to make sure that you're operating under the right NEICS code that categorizes your business properly, that really identifies what it is that you do as accurately as possible. So I would start there. And what we do is we help you build your business credit and position yourself so that we can turn you over to our partners to allow them to give you funding based off your credibility, based off your credit profile and the three C's that Mr. Noel spoke of, which is cash flow, credit, and collateral.
Yeah, go ahead, continue.
So, um, can I set up a CPN? Is what I see someone says. Alternate credit profile, the CPN. I really don't delve into it as much because I feel like the energy and effort that you would put into cultivating and developing a CPN and being able to acquire funding with it, you can put that same effort into your personal profile, your real business credit profile, or multiple companies and build those up. The same energy, the same money, and all those things you can correct your personal profile, and then you can move with confidence with a CP. What I've seen with CPNs, you have to kind of duck, dodge, and go under the radar with those when it comes to your personal and your business credit profile. Your authentic and genuine one, you can move with confidence with those, especially if you put the work in to put those in place, and you can do a lot more. It's not as restrictive as a CPN. Um, in terms of what we do trade line wise, what we do is we help you with the credibility aspect because in most cases, when it comes to lending, you'll get out of the lending situation what you've already put into your profile in the past. They're going to make those determining factors based off of your history, your limits that you've kept, the on-time payments that you have, the mix of credit that you have. So those are foundational when you build on top of the NAICS code, and make sure you have those things in place. And that's what primary trade lines help you do. In the past, many people use and still do use authorized user trade lines, and those are okay. But in today's lending climate, they're more for aesthetics. Whereas they'll help you to build up, higher credit scores, but not necessarily give you a lot of bandwidth when it comes to being able to get approved for high limit funding. Because at this point in time, they're they're used to people using authorized users, which is not a real representative or indicative of this person's real spending habits or real credit history, because you're inheriting someone else's credit history. It's like, riding a bike with training wheels. But having primary trade lines is like you riding a bike without training wheels because it's an authentic view of what it is that you've done when it came to maintaining your limits, when it came to being able to have high limits and things like that, and being able to show that history, being able to show those limits are a huge determining factor for lending approvals on your behalf because it shows what you've done in the past. It shows your capacity and what you're capable of. So just to give you guys a good idea of what you would want to look for from a personal credit standpoint, and it oftentimes determines, what you can get in the future. You want to look at your aim, and that's one of the things I've always asked people when they're looking to build business credit is, what is your goal? What are you looking to do? What's your next major purchase that you're looking to make? So let's say, for instance, if you're looking to purchase a car, if you're looking to purchase it under your personal, you want to show existing trade lines or existing history for that account that shows that you've done this in the past. So you want to have a well built out profile overall because it just shows your capacity to be able to handle debt, to be able to manage it really well. And a really well built out profile will typically have two installment accounts, which would be a car, a home. Those are really good to have. And then about four revolving accounts, which are, things that you can manage like credit cards. And so if you have that, that's considered what they call a thick or well built out file. Now, lack of those things will be considered a thin file. So you can have a really high credit score, but if you have a thin file, it really doesn't showcase your capacity to be able to manage the debt, and it could result in a denial or result in you having to pay higher premiums, higher interest rates, or down payments for whatever you're looking to purchase. And so trade lines help fill that gap for you. It can either show that you're well endowed when it comes to being able to handle the capacity of the credit, or it can show that you have lack of knowledge, lack of history, and lack of experience. And those two together will make determining factors for whether or not an underwriter, a company, whether they use AI or whether they use humans, will determine how much they would lend you and the terms for that lending. So in our case, what we do is we help to build that profile up to show that you have a strong foundation, to show that you have strong history, and show that you have the capacity for the highest limits you can possibly get with that profile. And so that's our aim and goal for our clients.
Who got a whole paragraph up in here? Hold on. James got a whole paragraph.
Mm.
You got a mic, James? I don't even.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm seeing what James and let me know if I'm wrong, but from what I'm seeing, James is asking about the CPN and how that would help him keep these profiles separate. But you think about it with a CPN. If you're looking to go and let's say, for instance, get a vehicle and using a CPN, well, one, when you purchase a vehicle, you also have to have a corresponding social security card or number. At the CPN, that doesn't necessarily register anymore. Say, for instance, you're looking to get an apartment, they oftentimes run it through what they call Approved Shield. Approved Shield is going to check your authentic social security number. And that's another case where a CPN wouldn't necessarily work. So and I'm always an advocate of actually building your real credit profile and your business entity's profile because they both have separate identities, but they still correspond and work in conjunction and harmony with each other. Your business credit profile goes from 350 up to 850, so you have a 500-point spread for that. And so I would put that same work and effort into making sure that's well built out. From a business credit standpoint, you have a paydex score that goes from 0 to 100, and you want to make sure that you have about an 85 on that. Both take tremendous amount of work for the average person. So the same, like I said before, the same effort that you would put into creating and cultivating that for a CPN, you can put that into developing and cultivating it for yourself, for your business entity. The better you build out your CPN, your EIN, which is your real business credit profile, the more weight it can carry. It's just like initially it's a baby when you first started out, and you have to give a baby milk and formula and things like that. But the more trade lines you add to it, the more history that that business entity has, the more you can feed it and you can get your baby up to the point to where now it's an adult and you can give it stake. And stake would be, higher limit credit cards, higher limit term loans, lines of credit, even purchasing vehicles in your business entity's name, and then ultimately cash for real estate and things like that.
He had a question that he said,
Sure.
what are some good starter credit cards and trade lines to build credit? I'm gonna go
Mhm.
over some in my next webinar, the master class, where I go over some starter credit cards or starter vendors. I also have a webinar on my YouTube channel that has good starter credit cards. Okay, I have a whole big list of starter credit cards. Okay, so you can check out my YouTube channel. And then he has another question there for you, Elgin. Go ahead.
Okay. So is this James? You're asking. I know
Let me let me
he asked
read it so
about the.
everybody else
Sure.
can understand too. But I can purchase a car through my business as I worked on in the auto industry as a fleet manager. But I do understand where what you're saying. I get it. I get it that what you're saying through. Oh, okay. Thank you. She said basically saying thank you. Okay, go ahead. My
Yeah,
bad.
you're welcome, James, and I definitely would like to talk to you further because if you look at my social media page, you'll see when I actually went and interviewed several several financiers at the car lots. One being Porsche, to find out the exact criteria that a person would need to be able to purchase a Porsche in their business entity's name because people get vehicles a lot in their personal, and very few people are able to have the bandwidth to build their business credit up enough to be able to get autos and homes and things like that in their EIN numbers name. So you'll see some unique things on there, some discovery from that. But but like I said, when it comes to CPN, you're really straddling the line of fraud when you're dealing with CPNs because there's a license required. There's also a social security required. And for you to match those two up with the CPNs, that's a challenge because you want to have your authentic and real information, and it's difficult to do if you're using the CPN to make major purchases. It's been done, people do it, but I'm just not an advocate of it. It's not a specialty of mine. My focus is building real business credit.
Go ahead.
And
One more question.
mhm.
Go ahead. It's all you, man.
All right, so you said you had one more question, James. I'd love to answer as soon as you write it in.
Yeah, yeah. James is in it, boy.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not a CPN specialist. James's question is, can he set up a CPN and link it directly with the business entity? A CPN is a personal alternate credit profile. Um, so you can do that. You can create one. And how would you use that to I guess be a personal guarantor for your business like you would for a personal? I'm not sure. Because like I said, for me, I'm not a CPN specialist. We work with people to really help them, consult them on building their personal credit legitimately, as well as building their business credit profile. And you're right, having a CPN is not illegal. No, it's not. But when you create a social security card from that CPN and you create an alternate license and then you use that to acquire funding, now you're straddling the fence of legality. So it sounds like you might know a little bit more about that than me. But yeah, if you have any questions, definitely let me know.
Okay, let me see.
What it
James,
says it
Mr.
says
Magnum
it's
got a question in there.
Okay, I see you, Jamie, and you asked what is my fee to get started with me. So first I'll do a free consultation for you. We'll assess where you are, and then assess what your goals are as far as where you want to go, and then from there it'll be a fee based off the work that would need to be done on your behalf. And you can definitely reach out to me. I'm easy to access. You can reach out to me. We have our office here in Decatur. We have our office right on Peachtree Street, and then we also you can join my social media, which is access_funding. You'll see some of the receipts from people that we've worked with there. And then you can always text or call me on my personal cell, which is my business phone as well. And that's 470-258-8888. And we'll customize a package based on your goals. I look at it like fitness. Everybody walks in and their goals are different. Some people might want to lose 10 pounds. Someone else might walk in and want to build 20 pounds of muscle. So it's the same case with this, and we'll address that based off what needs to happen for that person. Because some people looking to just get a car. Some people just want to make sure that their personal credit is in place for them to buy a home in a year or something like that. And so we'll address those needs, assess those needs, and then address them with solutions that we have. And the price will be based off the scope of the work that we'll need to perform for you. My pleasure.
Can you
So what?
explain your relationship with the data provider and how that works?
Absolutely. Yeah. So what we have on our team is a data furnisher. Now, if you look at any bank that puts your data up, so for instance, when you get a credit card, when you get a term loan, when you get a line of credit, things that you've purchased in the past, also debt consolidation companies, collection companies, they're data furnishers, and they can put the data that you have in their database on your credit report. And so that's what we have the unique ability to do is when you make a major purchase from us, we can position you to furnish that data onto your credit report to reflect on-time payments, to reflect high limits in history, to be able to put you in a stronger position to be able to pull down the funding that you need based off your goals.
Yeah, yeah, that's crucial right there to understand that we are be able to do stuff like that, right? See,
Yes.
so with you talking about the CPNs, I know you're down with the shortcuts, right? So
Mhm.
we don't show too many shortcuts, but we show you good ways that we can get the same thing done.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'm an advocate of really building up that profile, because these are tools that you can use for a long time here on out, and then you can sleep at night, and you don't have to take those shortcuts that might come back around and cause you some issues in the future. We rather help you build both that personal and that business credit profile legitimately, credibly, legally, so that way you can go in with confidence to a lending situation or institution to be able to get what you want, whether it's a vehicle, whether it's a home, whether it's high limit credit cards, term loans, or lines of credit. Is anyone making is anyone planning on making a major purchase here shortly or in the near future, and they would like to leverage their credit profile, both personal and business, to be able to help them make it happen? I would love to share some of the insight that we've helped several of our clients to accomplish that, and then how you might be able to use those same pointers and tips to be able to help you do the same thing. Okay, so Jamie, I see you're looking to purchase a commercial truck. That's good. And then James, I see that you want to set up a private investment and trading platform later this year. And then I see, James, you also plan on purchasing a home at the end of the year. So with both of those, both James and Jamie, the first thing
Whole
I
bunch of Jamies up in here.
yeah, we have James, we have Jamie, and I see you, Calvary, Mr. Hart. You're gonna purchase some dump trucks. That's awesome. We definitely have some entrepreneurial minded people here with goals, and I love to share company and be able to share knowledge with people just like that. So, Mr. James, you say you also need to build up your life insurance business. Okay, that's great. So with all of those things, they require capital in the form of the trucks. I would always recommend that a person would be able to go and get financing specifically for the dump trucks, because that's where you'll get the best terms and the best rates. Now, if you could do it two ways. We'll start with the dump trucks for you, Calvary. There's two ways you can approach that, from my knowledge, which is one, you can go and obtain funding. Whether that's a combination of things with term loans, lines of credit, business credit cards. I always recommend those, because with those, they don't show up on your personal. So it keeps your DTI in check. It doesn't show that you're over leveraged when it comes to the debt that you have. So if you're looking to make another purchase like a home or something like that later on down the line, it won't affect that purchase by showing that you have high usage on your personal, because you have those cards on your business. Now, in the case of a dump truck, I would definitely aim to build up my business credit profile, because that's a corporate based vehicle, and you want to be able to showcase capability in your business credit, and that will give you a great opportunity to do just that. There's several banks that you can use that will help you establish that dump truck in your business entity's name. But before you even start, make sure that you have your foundation in place first. Secondly, make sure that you have your your trade lines leading up to a high limit trade line that showcases that you have a history of being able to have high limit, trucks and vehicles in your business credit's name, which would be relevant if you added a auto trade line to your business credit. Now you have Experian for business. Our trade lines go there. For business, and then we use Equifax and Experian for our business, personal. So I would build up both. I would make sure that you have a well built out personal, so that shows credibility on your personal end, and then make sure that you're simultaneously building up your business credit, so that you show credibility and capability on that end, and you should be able to walk in the lot and get what you want. But just like I said at first, the first step, on the right, like Mr. Booker, with your dump truck or several dump trucks in your business name, not bearing the weight of them on your social security number, but more so on the EIN. And then I see
Did
here,
everybody
Mr.
get that?
And let
Because
me
he
know if you
started
have any
chopping
more
up on my
questions.
side.
Okay, can you guys hear me well? My apologies. I had a phone call come in, and I think that kind of threw the audio off. Can you guys hear me?
Okay, go ahead. You good? Yeah.
Okay. So I see, Mr. James, you want to buy a home by next year. So, and that's great that you're well ahead of the game. We're still in Q1 of this year, so you have plenty of time to really position yourself, and that's going to be predicated off just like Mr. Booker said, cash flow, credit, and in your case, the home would be the collateral that they can use. So if you don't make the payment, it'll be a lot easier for you to get into something collateralized than it would be to just get liquid cash, because they can always repossess a car and they can always foreclose a home. So that gives you great collateral. It's just a matter of you meeting the criteria for you to be able to purchase that home, which is, good credit history, which accounts for about 35% of your credit profile. On-time payments is about 35%. Good credit history is 30%, and then so on and so forth as far as your credit mix and things like that. And so I would start working on those things and tap into a realtor who understands the criteria that you'll need to meet for that particular lender to make sure that you're ready and lined up next year to be able to meet that. Oftentimes requires 2 years tax returns, and then there's once you, and this is for your home, but once you step outside of your home, it's good to secure your home first. There are also some other options for investors, which is a DSCR loan, which is debt service coverage ratio based loan that's not income based. And we could talk about that a little later. If you want to reach out to me after the webinar, we can jump into that as well. Okay, I see you said your nonprofit wants to buy a permanent real estate, hold events and meetings. Now we work in the for trade lines. We work primarily in the for-profit sector, so I wouldn't want to give you advice when it comes to nonprofits because I'm not as knowledgeable as far as how nonprofits work in terms of being able to acquire assets as I am when it comes to for-profit businesses. That's a little bit more my niche, but I can refer you to someone who does specialize in that. You're welcome. And then I see Mr. James Whitfield. You say you're looking to build up your life insurance business. Oh, that's awesome. That's actually near and dear to my heart. My father has a insurance brokerage that he's had, most of my life, and so that's something that we can connect. And what I've helped him with is his personal credit to build his business credit as well. So that way, when you're leveraging whatever it is that you do in terms of your expenses, that you get credit for it. Whether it's making payroll, whether it's buying new vehicles, whether it's purchasing real estate or office or something like that. You want to make sure that you get credit for that to show a track record of consistency, credibility, continuity, things that would give you high limit yields later on down the line in favor with lending institutions, so that you can use their tools to be able to infuse capital into your business and scale and grow. So, it always goes back to both. Those three C's Mr. Noel spoke of, which are credit, and that's both personal, that's both business, collateral, whether it's you already have some sort of collateral that you can leverage against a lending product, or you're looking to use lending to gain access to some sort of collateralized, like something collateralized like a building or a vehicle. And then, of course, your cash flow, which you can showcase by your bank statements or your taxes. And so I would make sure I have all those things in place, making sure you should have a framework that you can fill the gaps in, and that you have your GPS set, so that way you can successfully build your life insurance business according to your preference and scale it and grow it.
And let me also add that right after this
Mhm.
webinar, we're going to do a business credit masterclass where we're going into a lot of details about how to build your business credit. Okay. And you can register for that by going to the website businesscreditbuilder.us and then going to resources events. Right. And then you can register for the webinar getting ready to come up right after this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
Got you. So Calvert, I see your question here. Let me make sure I don't miss anyone's questions. All right, James, let's say you want to set up a private investment trade platform for later this year. Um, I think, in that case, knowing how much capital you would need, doing your projections, and then lining up your personal and business profile to be able to meet yourself at the point of those needs in the future, to be able to pull down the funding that would be necessary for you to be able to get that. Um, and I see here, Calverick, you're asking where's the best site to get trade lines. There are several sites that offer trade lines. One of the ones that we use for authorized user trade lines is tradelinesupply.com. And then also keep in mind that these are authorized users. Now, with authorized users, you're inheriting the credit profile of someone else. And in today's climate, many data points don't add up the same way they used to, because authorized users, like I said today, are more aesthetic than they are useful. So it's just like having a real built body with a bunch of big muscles, but you don't have a lot of functionality. It just looks good, but when it comes to actually being able to do work, they don't really pan out as much as primary trade lines. Now, if you're interested in primary trade lines, we have a menu of them. I'll first do an assessment for you, do a consultation, and it's more like a tailored suit. We'll tailor what we have through data furnishing to what your needs are. And you can reach me, just send me a text with your full name, email, and what your preference is as far as trade lines or anything like that. And text me at 470-258-8888. And then I'll
Yeah, and we'll
give
put
you a
up
list.
on the screen at the end. We'll put up his all his contact
Mhm.
information at the end.
And James Magnum, I see that you said SBA.
You want some?
Um,
I got some gummies. Yeah, these are my favorite. You're like, oh, oh, yeah, I went walking. No, no.
don't take too much of those gummies though. Make sure you stay within your limits.
Sheeta, Sheeta, that name sounds familiar. Sheena, what's up?
Gummies. Oh,
James, I see you said SBA. We do have lenders that specialize in SBA loans, and it depends on what you're looking for. We can definitely help you build your profile out, which is more of our thing, myself and Noel, to be able to position you for SBA funding, and that's something that we can tap into Mr. Noel for. He also leverage his skills and the capability when it comes to that for SBA funding. Absolutely, Mr. Noel, he can definitely help you with that.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all can schedule a consultation by going to businesscreditbuilder.us/consult.
Mr. Noel also has a very unique offering in the funding space, and he can probably touch on it a little bit more, which is hybrid funding, which considers both business and personal, and he can get you a lot of variation of products from credit card stacking, from term loans and lines of credit on the personal side to business credit cards and things like that on the business side. And I would definitely tap into them because he's very well endowed when it comes to that and can help you quite a bit.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the hybrid program in the next webinar on the Business
Mhm.
Credit Master Class coming up soon.
Awesome. Great day, Sheena.
Yeah, Sheena. I remember Sheena. She came in a few of my webinars back to back about a year ago or something like that, right?
Hmm. So one thing that's really popular that I get often, and we talked about the dump trucks. I just want to go back to that um, for Mr. Calverick, and that's in obtaining vehicles in the business entity's name. Because let's say, for instance, we have I think it's James who's looking to purchase a home soon. And let's say, for instance, James, you have a business entity and you want to get a vehicle. Well, it can offset your debt to income ratio if you went and purchased the home first. And then if you went and purchased the vehicle first, and then after that, you went and purchased the home, it may get you less of a home because now it shows that your DTI is high because you have the vehicle on there. So one of the things, a strategy that you could use is to build your business credit profile up, acquire the vehicle under your business entity's name without having to impede on your personal social security number. So that way, when you go and purchase the home, it'll make it a lot easier for you. You'll get better terms, higher limit, be able to afford a better house, and then you'll have less of a down payment required because you're less risky. So that would be something I would really focus on. And some of the things that you can do in order to position yourself to be able to get that high limit when it comes to your home, or get that high limit when it comes to being able to purchase a vehicle, is having high limit trade lines that show history, that show on time payments, that show high amounts, show that you have the bandwidth and the capacity to be able to make those purchases, and then lenders will give you more favorable terms. So I would make sure I concentrate on that, and trade lines is a great way to do that because it can showcase that history, it can showcase those high limits, and put you in a position to have credibility in a lender's eyes to give you their lending products a lot faster than someone who didn't have that. Yeah, so any company, anybody with a, who's registered with the Secretary of State. I see here, Machina, you said, do you have programs for construction companies? Absolutely. If you have a LLC, a C Corp, or S Corp, or any of those things, we can definitely help you build the business credit up under it. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And so let's go ahead and summarize what we have talked about already, Mr. Elgin, and get
Absolutely.
ready for this next webinar coming up. Summarize and see if we got some more questions, and we could go ahead and start closing out this webinar. Don't want to take
Okay,
up
yeah,
too much
sure.
of your time.
Thank you, sir, and thank you everyone who tuned in. And in a nutshell, basically, what we're doing, what our aim is to help empower prospective lendees to be able to connect the dots with prospective lenders, and that's increasing your credibility in their eyes by helping you to build out your personal and your business credit profile to meet the criteria that those companies have, which your trade lines are a bigger part of that, because typically these companies are going to, not typically, but as a standard, these companies are going to look at your past history, and we're going to help you create and cultivate that history to be able to help these companies see your credibility, see your capabilities, so that way it opens the door to their lending products. And the goal for us is to help as many people as possible meet that criteria, to grow, to scale their business, to get brighter, and to get better.
And if you could go over that information one more time about the data providers, because
Yeah,
that's
so
what
we
you were
have
talking
we
about.
have a data furnisher who has the capacity and capability to add the data that you're utilizing to help you build that history. And just call and we'll break it down for you. You can reach me at 470-258-8888. And so instead of you buying a suit off the rack, which would be like an authorized user or something like that, you can have a tailored suit that's created just for you, that's shaped and built around your specific and exact goals. And so you're not shooting in the dark, and you'll have exactly what you need for the things that you're looking to purchase in the future. And we'd be happy to help you with that.
Yes, sir. Um, Anybody got any more questions before we end this webinar? And y'all can check out this webinar on the YouTube channel. Go to businesscreditbuilder.us, click on the YouTube button. Any more last questions before we end this webinar?
And you're more than welcome, Mr. James, Mr. Magnum.
I hope this information was useful for y'all to get y'all headed toward the next direction of where you're going. I hope you ain't waste your time and stuff like that.
You're welcome. Everybody's welcome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All the Jamies up in here. Okay, if we don't have any more questions, we're gonna go ahead and end this. Anybody got any final words or comments before we get out of here?
I just want to say thank you again, Mr. Noel, for having me. Thanks for everybody who tuned in, gave me the opportunity to share what it is we do. Once again, if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to me. Access_funding on Instagram. Phone number 470-258-8888. Send me a text, your full name, your email address, and the inquiry you have, and I'll be happy to help you. All consults are free, no charge. And if you need, like I said, the mix of funding, reach out to Mr. Noel Booker. He has some great programs when it comes to that, as well as building your business credit profile. And hope to hear from you soon. See you on the other side.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And don't forget, y'all, to get your free guide on how to build business credit by going to businesscreditbuilder.us/free guide. I got a March special coming up to get this one-on-one business credit consultation for 1 year. Got a super special coming up, so check me out in the next webinar masterclass. We're gonna tell you about the March special that we got going on, 50% off. Everybody, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all taking your time out to come and listen to us knuckleheads out here. Uh, but y'all, thank y'all very much. We appreciate y'all. Check out, call up Mr. Edwards, get your free guide, schedule your free consultations, and let's get it. All right, everybody, y'all have a good day, and peace and blessings.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. See you soon. Talk soon.
Oh yeah. And we do these once a month. We're gonna do these once a month with Mr. Edwards, Elgin Edwards, and y'all could come back and ask more questions. Because these are the times that we answer the questions, right? So it's good to come and catch us live and get these questions answers, right?
And,
All right,
and, and
everybody.
mhm.
Let me get out of here. Get ready for this next webinar. The master class coming up. Nigga, what? All right, y'all. Where am I at? Oh, there we go. All right. Thank you, Mr. Elgin. Thank you for joining us and all of that. Everybody, thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. We out. We out like shout.